Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's DAYYY Media coming at you with another video. You know what time it is. It's time to bring on that boxing. Today we're going to be talking about Jake Paul. Obviously, his fight with Asim Rahman Jr. was canceled, and it was creating a big fiasco just because they canceled the fight when they found out that Asim Rahman apparently lost a pound, and it was only a week away. It was a decent time away from the fight, but still, it was getting pretty close, and they're saying they wanted him to do it the safe way, and if he's not going to be professional about it, then he shouldn't do it. But the more intriguing thing was that Shawn Porter, Showtime Shawn Porter, two-time welterweight champion of the world, I should say former, but he's still that guy. He actually called it, in I believe it was a Fight Hype video with Marco, Marco from Fight Hype, not Fight Hype, Fight Hub, and Shawn Porter kind of called it. He said they're going to massage it. Jake Paul's team is going to try to massage it and put a clause in there with the rehydration and all the weight cut to make it seem like Asim Rahman is the one pulling out of the fight, and they're not going to take any of the blame, which is kind of what happened if you think about it. Asim Rahman obviously weighed in at 206.6 pounds, 1.6 pounds over the agreed 205. It was originally 200, but Jake Paul's team was willing to go to 205, and Rahman missed it by 1.6 pounds. Usually in the sport of boxing, when you miss weight, especially if it's not a title fight, it's not that big of a deal. 1.6 pounds, obviously he agreed to a contract. He could pay a fine, pay whatever fines. Asim Rahman said he was willing to fight for the $5,000 minimum. Jake Paul still didn't go through with the fight. His team didn't think it was a good idea. His advisors said no. I think Jake Paul was still down to fight. It was just his team, which is pretty smart on Jake's end because they didn't want to give up any advantages. But at the same time, you set up this mega event at Madison Square Garden, the mecca of boxing, the mecca of performing and entertainment, and then you have people like Amanda Serrano and the Carbajal, the what was supposed to be the co-main event, and then you had Brandon Lee on your undercard, rising prospect at 140, and now you just have the issues of the fight not happening. Period. Shawn called it. He kind of he used all his intel to kind of make that evaluation that this was going to happen. And to be honest, Jake Paul, like I was saying, he had this big card going on. It was supposed to be a big event on August 6th. I was supposed to be at some of them, meeting up with the Porterweight podcast, Shawn Porter's squad. They're great people. Always been very nice to me, and it's just a shame that this happened because it was a night of boxing that was going to be good for the fans. In New York, fighting in the center, on such a big stage in the center of the city, where everything's going on, where all the action's happening. And to have people like Serrano, they train hard. They had a full training camp. I know Jake did too, but it's just they could have found a replacement, could have done a lot of things to keep the event going. But obviously, there's going to be risk involved for Jake and diversity. And I think his advisors and team probably said it was a good idea, and maybe they should just go back to the drawing board in terms of finding a new opponent or figuring out what to do next with his boxing career. So he's going to have to make a decision ultimately. He's running out of names. Shawn Porter mentioned this on his podcast. Jake Paul's beginning to run out of those names where in the boxing world that he can kind of fight and kind of test the waters against a real professional boxer. He had Tommy Fury that fell through. Then he had this fight and he kind of blew it. So Jake Paul is going to have to make up a decision. Does he fight real cruiserweights or real heavyweights or that aren't necessarily the best, but they're still a big threat because they actually know how to box? Or does he go back to fighting UFC fighters who are much smaller and maybe weigh around 170, 180 when he's coming in at damn near 200 pounds? So it's up to Jake. I still respect what he's doing in the sport of boxing because, it's hard to sell tickets, period, and to make millions of dollars without even having 10 professional fights or 10 amateur fights, without a decorated background like Asim Rahman has. It's respectable, and we'll see what Jake does next, and I'll keep you guys updated with all the intel I get. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to run these numbers up. Thank you guys for the constant support, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.